has only increased tensions further. Another key factor is Iran's nuclear program. The U.S. and its allies have long been concerned that Iran could develop nuclear weapons. Although Iran claims its program is for peaceful purposes, many experts are not convinced. Any sign that Iran is moving closer to building a nuclear bomb could trigger immediate military action. Now let's talk about what could actually happen if things go wrong. If a war breaks out between the U.S. and Iran, it won't be a simple short conflict. Iran has powerful missile systems and can target U.S. bases and allies in the region. It could also disrupt global oil supply by blocking the Strait of Hormuz, a critical route through which a large portion of the world's oil passes. If that happens, oil prices could skyrocket, affecting economies around the globe. Moreover, Iran doesn't fight alone. It has a network of allied groups that could open multiple fronts against U.S. interests. This means the conflict could quickly spread across the Middle East, turning into a regional war. But here's the twist. Neither side actually wants a full-scale war. War is extremely costly, not just in terms of money, but also human lives and global stability. The United States is already involved in multiple global commitments, and a new war could stretch its resources even further. On the other hand, Iran knows that a direct war with the U.S. could be devastating. So why are tensions still rising? The answer lies in strategy, power, and messaging. Sometimes countries increase military presence not to start a war, but to prevent one. This is known as deterrence, showing strength to discourage the other side from taking aggressive actions. However, this strategy can be risky. A single mistake, like a misinterpreted attack or an accidental strike, could trigger a chain reaction. History has shown us that wars often start not because they were planned, but because situations spiraled out of control. Another important aspect is global politics. Countries like China and Russia are closely watching the situation. Any conflict in the Middle East could shift global power dynamics. For example, if the U.S. gets heavily involved in a war, it might reduce its focus on other regions like the Indo-Pacific, giving China more room to expand its influence. Let's also consider the impact on everyday people. If a conflict begins, it won't just affect soldiers and governments. Oil prices could rise sharply, leading to increased fuel costs, higher transportation expenses, and inflation worldwide. Stock markets could crash and global trade could slow down. In simple terms, a war in the Middle East could impact your daily life, no matter where you live. Now the big question, are we really heading toward war? The honest answer is, it's complicated. There are clear signs of rising tension, military deployments, aggressive statements, and regional conflicts. But at the same time, there are also ongoing diplomatic efforts behind the scenes. Talks, negotiations, and back-channel communications are constantly happening to prevent the situation from escalating. In many ways, the current situation is like a high-stakes game of chess. Every move is calculated, every decision carries risk, and one wrong step could change everything. So what should we watch for in the coming weeks and months? Keep an eye on military movements, especially naval deployments in the Persian Gulf. Watch for any major attacks on U.S. bases or allies. Pay attention to statements from both governments. Sometimes even a single sentence can signal a shift in strategy. Most importantly, stay informed. In today's world, information spreads fast, but not all of it is accurate. Always rely on trusted sources and avoid panic. To sum it all up, the U.S. and Iran are at a critical point. The situation is tense, unpredictable, and potentially dangerous. But war is not inevitable. There is still a chance for diplomacy, de-escalation, and peace. The real question is, will leaders choose confrontation, or will they step back before it's too late? Because if they don't, the consequences won't just be regional. They will be global, and they will affect all of us. So what do you think? Is this just another phase of political tension? Or are we on the edge of something much bigger? Let me know your thoughts. United States has the most expensive military in the world, and by a very large margin. In 2026, the U.S. defense budget is estimated to be close to $900 billion. When additional costs such as veterans care, nuclear programs outside the Pentagon, and interest on war-related debt are included, the total national security spending exceeds $1 trillion. This raises an important question. Why does the United States spend so much on its military? One of the biggest reasons is global presence. Unlike most countries, the United States does not limit its military to defending its own borders. Instead, it maintains a global network of hundreds of military bases across Europe, Asia, and the Middle East. These bases allow the U.S. to respond quickly to threats, support allies, and protect international trade routes. However, maintaining such a wide presence is extremely expensive. It requires transportation systems, supply chains, housing for troops, and constant operational readiness. Another major factor is personnel costs. The U.S. military is an all-volunteer force, which means soldiers are paid competitive salaries and receive extensive benefits. These include health care, housing allowances, education support, and retirement pensions. Compared to countries with mandatory conscription, the U.S. spends significantly more per soldier. In addition, recruitment and retention have become more challenging in recent years, leading to higher bonuses and incentives. Operations and maintenance form the largest portion of the military budget. This includes the cost of running equipment, training troops, and maintaining bases. Modern military hardware is extremely expensive to operate. For example, fighter jets can cost tens of thousands of dollars per hour to fly. Aircraft carriers, submarines, and armored vehicles all require constant maintenance and highly trained personnel. Fuel costs alone are enormous due to the scale of operations. Technology and weapons development also play a critical role in driving costs. The United States invests heavily in cutting-edge military technology to maintain its strategic advantage. This includes stealth aircraft, advanced missile systems, drones, artificial intelligence, cyber warfare capabilities, and space-based defense systems. Research and development in these areas require billions of dollars every year. The goal is to stay ahead of competitors such as China and Russia, which are also rapidly modernizing their militaries. Nuclear weapons are another expensive component. The U.S. maintains a large nuclear arsenal as part of its deterrence strategy. However, these weapons are not simply built and left unchanged. They require continuous modernization to remain safe, reliable, and effective. This includes new intercontinental ballistic missiles, upgraded submarines, and strategic bombers. These programs cost tens of billions of dollars annually. Ongoing military operations and conflicts further increase spending. Even when the U.S. is not engaged in large-scale wars, it conducts counter-terrorism operations, intelligence missions, and regional deployments. Each operation involves logistics, equipment, personnel, and coordination with allies. In times of active conflict, costs can rise dramatically within a short period. The role of defense contractors is also significant. A large portion of the military budget goes to private companies that design, build, and maintain weapon systems. These companies play a vital role in innovation and production, but their contracts can be extremely expensive. This relationship between the government and defense industry is often referred to as the military-industrial complex. Veterans' care and long-term obligations add another layer of cost. After service members retire, the government continues to provide health care, disability benefits, and pensions. These expenses last for decades and are not always included in the core defense budget. Additionally, interest on past war borrowing continues to add to the overall financial burden. Strategically, the United States aims to maintain military dominance. This means having the capability to operate in multiple regions at once and to deter potential adversaries from taking aggressive actions. The idea is that overwhelming strength can prevent conflicts before they begin. However,